Hey guys, welcome to this Photoshop tutorial of making business cards. The reason why I'm making a tutorial on business cards is because business cards is a pretty important part of any field that you go into. There are various fields that you would need a business card for, and so I thought it would be useful if you guys can learn how to do that. And the tutorial that I'll be doing is pretty simple and easy to follow. So let's get started. First thing you want to do, obviously, is to open up your Photoshop file. If you don't have Photoshop, you can actually get a trial version from Adobe.com. It's pretty useful to use it for 30 days, and then after that, it's up to you whether you want to extend it or buy it, or there's many different like deals and packages they have to fit your needs. So the first thing you want to do is click File in the corner here, and then you're going to click New. And what we're doing here is we're basically adjusting the dimensions of the business cards that we need. So you want to click Custom here, and the business cards we'll be designing are going to be in inches, and the standard size for business card is 3.5 inches by 2 inches. And you want to make sure your resolution is between 150 and 300. Because if you have a lower resolution, then your business card will turn out blurry, and you don't want that, of course. And then you can press OK. And here we have a pretty basic blank screen where we can, edit our stuff. So the first thing you want to do is this lock right here actually stops you from making any edits. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, and then we're going to click duplicate the layer, and then we're going to press OK. And we can actually press the delete key on our keyboard to delete that. Now let's say you have a tech store, or let's say you have a computer repair store, and you want to make business cards for yourself and distribute it to the community so you can get some clients. Okay, so let's see what we can do with that. The first thing you want to do is get like a cool background, something to have in the back there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our browser, and here we have google.com. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically look for something cool. So my favorite color is green, so I'm going to look up green background, or cool green background actually. There you go. So let's see what we have. And you can select one of these. Size doesn't really matter because we can actually adjust it on Photoshop later on. I'm going to go with this because it looks kind of techy, and these look like wires or transistors or something. So I'm going to basically save the image onto my desktop, and once that's done, I can close my browser and reopen my Photoshop file there, and just drag it onto my Photoshop. So I want to readjust my file. Now if there's a certain area of the background that I want, I can actually target it in whatever way, but in this case it seems like a perfect size, so we're going to leave it at that. You press the check mark here when you're done resizing. What you want to do next is basically right click here, and you want to rasterize the layer. And the reason why you want to do that is because if you don't do that, it will be harder to edit the image. So let's get started. You want to click this T symbol, which basically represents typing or font or anything like that, and you want to make a box where you want to write the title or the name of your store. So let's just, for the sake of this tutorial, let's call it tech store, like a generic name. And we can actually change the color of the font when you click this little box here, and you can actually choose many different colors and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna stick with white, so there's a strong contrast against the green in this case. So yeah, text store, and you can actually select the font that you want. There's many different fonts and stuff like that. So let's look for something techy. This one is pretty techy. So what happened here was the font size is so big that the original box that we had is too small for it. So what we're gonna do is basically drag this out a little bit more. And that will actually allow us to see the whole thing. Okay, and then I just click the selection tool so I can actually move um, my writing anywhere I want. So in this case, I want it right in the middle. Okay, so we have that. It's called text store. And what's good is we can actually add a slogan right under it. Um, something like a catchphrase or something like that. So nothing cheesy, of course. But let's say um, for all. Oh, you can't really see it. Okay, so the problem here is the font size is too big, so we're gonna pick something small because our box is kind of small. So let's say for all your computer needs, whatever. Um, you can put anything there. Probably need to make this box a little bigger because it's too small. There you go, perfect. So now looks pretty nice there. Um, text store for all your computer needs. Okay. Now there's a cool feature on Photoshop. It's called the effects feature, and what you can do is basically add effects to your font. So what we're gonna do right now is you're gonna click on your layer, which is these are all layers because that's what images are. I mean, especially in your photoshopping, everything's in layers basically. So we have if we unselect these, we have the layer of of the original white background, then we have the layer of the background we chose, and then we have the texture layer and this slogan. So you want to select the texture layer here, and you want to click this little icon called effects, and you want to add you want to click drop shadow, and over here it's gonna, I know it's hard to see, but there is an actual shadow that it just made, and it kind of makes the image, the font pop out a little bit, makes it look more professional and things like that. You can actually play with the opacity here. I don't know if you can see that, but actually make it a little bigger so you guys can see. But so that's, you can play with these values like size, spread, and distance from the actual thing to make it look better. But everyone has their own preference. I don't like to make it too strong, because then it might look a little tacky. But I think that looks pretty good. So we're gonna stick with that if that's okay. I'm not gonna do the same to the slogan because I want the attention to go right on the text store primarily, you know. So I'm not gonna make that same effect for the slogan there for all your computer needs. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, which is adding your actual contact information. So you want to select the T symbol again, and you want to make a box there, like that. Now, in this case, I'm going to have my information on this side. Now, it's up to you whether you want to put it in the middle, the side, or whatever. But I want to put it on this side. In this case. So let's say my name is Bob Evans. So you want to write that first, and then in the next, you want to press enter, and it will take you to the next part. And then you want to write your phone number, for example, like whatever. Just put a fake phone number for example's case. Now, if you'll notice, there's a huge gap, like a huge space between these two when I press enter. Now we can actually fix that if you select that, and then here you can actually adjust the distance between your lines. So let's make it like that. That seems about right, I think. Yeah. And let's say you want to make a part of it bigger, like Bob Evans. I want to make that bigger. We can actually go ahead and increase the size to make more emphasis on that part. So that seems about right. Bob Evans. Okay. I'm using my arrow keys, by the way, to actually, instead of, like, there's two ways to move around your objects. One is by the mouse, or you can actually use your arrow keys, and it's kind of more precise, and I tend to use that more than actually using arrow keys. Oh, look, I missed my parentheses there. There you go. Okay, so moving on. So you usually want to add your name, of course, and your number. Sometimes, you can also add your email address if you want people to contact you by email. Yeah, so let's put an email. So let's say info at, T-store for an abbreviation, .com. Now, this got a little big, so you want to make sure it's the right size. make this like 7 instead of 8, so that will fit perfectly. And finally, if you want to put your website, if you have one that is, like www.tstore.com, whatever your website may be. And just in case you're wondering where you can get your own website, you can go to GoDaddy.com. They have great domain names, any domain name that you're looking for, and they're really cheap. They range from $1 to about $3 a year, so that's pretty useful. Okay, so we have that, and let's actually add some emphasis to the Bob Evans part of the name. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the similar effect that we had on the word text or on Bob Evans. So what you want to do is but you don't want to go through all that work. So what you can do is actually right click on this right here, and you can click copy layer style, and then you can go to the layer that you want here, and you can actually paste just like that, so it's pretty awesome. In this case, since everything is in one layer, the effect went to the entire thing, and I just realized it would be a hassle to divide up the layers and then do that. So actually maybe I can just take the layer. Let's see if I can. Oh no, it's one whole big layer. Yeah. But if you want different styles on each one of these lines, what you would basically have to do is basically just make a new layer, which is selecting T, and then you would have to write the number again, and adjust the size and things like that, and put it where you want to. But to save time, we're not going to go through that. So yeah, and let me see if you want to make it look a little cooler. So this is pretty good, but it's kind of plain. So say I want to add an effect or make it look a little cooler. What we can do actually is we can select the region of it. So say you want to select the top part, because that's where the title of the store is. Yeah. So we'll select that, and then what we can actually do is if you go to image and you go to hue and saturation, and what you can do is you can play with these to make it like different colors, and make some contrast between that and the rest of the business card. Now I like this color blue. It looks pretty awesome, and I'm also gonna decrease the lighting so that way that really pops out. Increase saturation, and yeah. Well, there you have it. The last thing you would probably want to do is save the actual file, and that's pretty easy. All you have to do is go to File, and then you want to click Save As, and you want to put a name, obviously. So you want to say Bob's, BC for Bob's business card. Save it on desktop or wherever, and you want to save a Photoshop version, and you also want to save a image format, because not all websites will accept the Photoshop format of your business card, so it's useful if you have it in multiple formats. So we're also going to save it a JPEG, which is the most generic default type of format for images. So let's do that, and I'm going to click Save. And you wanna, they give you an option to leave it at 9, but I just always put it on high quality just so I preserve the pixelation of my business card. So then you want to click OK, and you can finally close it, and we have our file right here. So after that, if you want to go ahead and actually print your business cards, there's a lot of great websites like vistaprint.com or gotprint.com or Staples, which will allow you to print your business cards for cheap. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys will